What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 17:22 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have U.S. nuclear forces on very high alert this afternoon and this evening. We've had multiple standard nuclear codes transmitted, also known as emergency action messages. These are codes from U.S. Strategic Command to our submerged nuclear armed submarines and bombers and missile silos, updating them with targeting information. But we also had several tactical nuclear codes this afternoon. And the way you know that these are tactical is when they read out the code, they direct it to a specific name or call sign, which could be a plane or a bomber of some kind, or some kind of nuclear war command and control plane, something strategic. They'll read out the call sign first, or the name of the asset or the receiving station, before they read out the code. So they only transmit tactical codes when something is about to go down. Now, in addition to all these codes, we also have a very large number of nuclear war command and control planes up in the air right now this afternoon. So far, we've had a total of 5 nuclear war command and control planes airborne today, and these are the Boeing E-6B Mercuries, and their primary job is to communicate with our submerged nuclear armed submarines and for our airborne launch control system. So these are basically flying antennas. That's the best way you can think of them, and their purpose is a plan B in the event of some kind of war. If our enemy destroys our ground communications, we can still communicate to our nuclear forces from the air and launch missiles from the air with these planes. So they're very important, and 5 of them up in the air in one afternoon is very, very rare. I don't even think we've had this many during the entire Iran war. I think the last time I've seen this many was well over a year ago during culinary night in the Biden administration, when Iran was launching hundreds of missiles at Israel. That's the last time I've seen this many nuclear warplanes airborne, okay? Now, in addition to that, we also had an aerial refueler flying over Whiteman Air Force Base, which is the home of our stealth bombers in Missouri. It was flying very low. You can see right here. One plane took off from Strategic Command, went down to Whiteman, looped for a while there, and then flew back to Strategic Command. So it was refueling a stealth bomber or stealth bombers here in this area because it was flying very low. In addition to that, we had an aerial refueler flying over the Canadian Maritimes, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick area. Okay, flying around this area is very unusual for a U.S. refueler. This means that they're refueling some type of strategic asset that's going over the ocean, typically bombers. Now, some radio observers today heard bombers making radio checks on the primary U.S. nuclear war frequency. And if this isn't enough, here we have 3 more nuclear war command and control planes. These are airborne right now. And we also have a high priority recon plane flying over the United States, a Combat Sentinel. This is the highest priority reconnaissance plane in the U.S. military. There's only 2 of them, and one of them took off from Strategic Command, flew over the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, and is now turning back So 3 nuclear war command and control planes and a combat sentinel airborne now. And then earlier we had 2 nuclear war command and control planes and the aerial refueler over Missouri. And remember, we had that massive nuclear war exercise last week where high priority nuclear codes were transmitted, and dozens of standard priority nuclear codes were transmitted as well. And here we have an example of one of the tactical codes from this afternoon. And also we have some very concerning news coming out of Russia, and this could all be related to Russia. That's what I'm thinking it is. I could be wrong. It's all speculation. Nobody knows what's truly going on unless you work for the nuclear forces or you work for the government in the very high levels of the government. But the CIA director made an unannounced flight to Moscow last night, and he is there right now. And this is unprecedented, guys, for a CIA director to fly to Russia, and it's unannounced. The first time that the current CIA director ever went to Russia. This is huge breaking news, and a lot of people are saying that this is related to Russia mobilizing their society for some kind of big invasion, which many people believe, including myself, that this is preparations for an attack on Poland and the Baltics. Now, how do we know that? Well, because Russia started a massive reserve mobilization in the Kaliningrad province, and Kaliningrad is right next to Poland and Lithuania. It's nowhere near Ukraine, okay? So why would Russia be suddenly mobilizing reservists in a part of Russia that is landlocked and completely separated from Ukraine? There's no way that they're going to move troops from Kaliningrad to Ukraine, because they would have to cross through NATO territory, okay, and go, 500 miles or even further, 1,000 miles. Makes no sense. So they're obviously preparing for an attack on the Baltics and Poland. And we know that Russia in recent weeks has been testing NATO's borders, launching missiles into Poland, launching drones into Romania and the Baltics. And multiple Russian sea drones were found near some Romanian gas rigs in the Black Sea. So things are escalating very, very quickly. Now, in addition to that, we have some very concerning footage coming out of Russia. And here you can see the U.S. Embassy in Moscow has its flags taken down. So there's no U.S. flags on the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. This is a red flag that something is about to go down. And why would they remove the flags from the embassy? Well, the only thing I can think of is self-defense. They don't want maybe Russians to attack the embassy if there's some kind of an escalation. I have no idea. Maybe they're going to be closing the embassy down. I don't know. But here's the footage, guys.
Аркадий Аркадьевич, а тем временем на посольстве-то США флаг убрали. Что же это может значить?
Okay, so he's showing the embassy, and you can see there's no flag on the flagpole. Okay, I'll play it one more time.
На посольстве-то США флаг убрали. Что же это может значить?
And we're also hearing some interesting news coming out of the Iran war. So Israeli Channel 12 is reporting that Marco Rubio told Israel that the U.S. does not intend to launch new strikes on Iran anytime soon. Okay? So very, very serious. And Iran's deputy foreign minister said that Iran can take preemptive action and that they may not wait for America to attack. And Iran has already threatened to retaliate for Trump's economic D-Day measures, which Iran said they would attack any bypasses of the Strait of Hormuz. The biggest bypass is the East-West pipeline that goes through Saudi Arabia, which connects the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea with a huge pipeline. And Iran is threatening to attack that if we go through with those economic D-Day initiatives against Iran. So very serious news. Something is going on. Lots of nuclear warplanes up in the air. Rubio saying that the U.S. is not going to strike Iran anytime soon. We have the CIA director making an unannounced trip to Moscow. Russia mobilizing reservists right next to Poland. And just a lot going on. I will be monitoring the situation, and I might be going live very late tonight. If not, I'll be monitoring the situation and updating accordingly. And also, my wonderful moderators in my 24/7 stream will be updating accordingly as well. And for my Patreon members and YouTube members, I will be updating you in text format in between my main video updates. So that's one of the main benefits to becoming a member on YouTube and Patreon. But until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a major sale on their 4-week emergency food supplies. And to get the deal, you got to use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com. The link is in the description down below. But you're going to get 2 4-week emergency food supplies for $416. That's 2 months of emergency food for $400. Where are you going to find a deal like that? This is freeze-dried food, has a 25-year shelf life, packed in 4 rugged, watertight buckets that don't take up a lot of space. So even if you live in a tiny apartment, you can still prep and have 2 months of food for just $400. Use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get the deal, and the link is in the description below this video.